Damn, she gave my mama. Man, you just tripping, dog. I hate my baby mama. Don't need my baby mama. Can't stand my baby mama. Dislike my baby mama. I hate my baby daddy. Don't need my baby daddy. Can't stand my baby daddy. Dislike my baby daddy. Hey, look, fellas, don't you hate when your baby mama get around all her fake friends? She take one little problem and she make 10 and try to get all the loot that you take in. I should have listened to my dogs when they warned me. I should have.
All right, this is Lady Rayne. Welcome to TNM About That Life. I have an exciting show lined up for tonight. I also have a co-host that I'm waiting to call in, DJ Rasafire. And tonight is really exciting for us because we're gonna try to have some common sense while we talk about an issue that we usually don't use our common sense when we address. And we're going to talk about baby mama drama. And I don't know why you call it baby mama drama, because baby daddies is just as dramatic. It is really not fair. Okay, I just want to say that before we get started. I have a lot of great people lined up to call in tonight. I got Shonda Pertilla calling in. She's going to really break it down for us. She's going to give it to y'all about how we act. And then I got Sylvia Rosario on the line now. She is super awesome. I got to talk to her a little bit today. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist. I know that's big words for y'all because you'd rather buy a bottle of Ciroc than get a therapist, but maybe you should just hold back on a bottle of Ciroc a couple of times a week, I don't know, a couple of times a month, and go call Sylvia or call somebody who can help you make sense of your life. So we're going to go ahead and introduce Sylvia right now. Are you still there on the line, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
How are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing fairly well.
I just want to give you a little space to tell everybody who you are, if you'd like, and what you do and how they might reach you before we get started.
Okay. Well, I am a licensed marriage and family therapist practicing in Washington, D.C. I have two offices. I have one on H Street Northwest, 1100 H Street Northwest, and I see clients there on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then I have an office on Capitol Hill, and I see clients there on Saturdays.
Okay. Well, tonight, Sylvia, I'm so glad you called in for us because I've got a baby daddy on the line, too. And I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit because I am a baby mama. I have 5 kids right now. And I've got 5 kids from 4 baby daddies. That's right. DJ Rayne is your baby mama. And I have been through all the kinds of baby mama, baby daddy drama that is possibly known in the universe, I think, except for killing each other. I think I've touched every other place. So I'm going to let this baby it's DJ Rasa. I'm going to let DJ Rasa in because DJ Rasa is going to help me co-host tonight. So I'm going to let her in first.
All right.
DJ Rasa, can you hear us?
Yes, bless. We give thanks for everybody that's coming in tonight and bless the chat that's about to go on here on this radio station. We give thanks for all visitors, and I give thanks for you too, DJ Rayne. So you guys.
And you can say hi to Miss Sylvia Rosario. She's on the line too.
Well, hi, Miss Sylvia Rosario. Bless.
Yes, hi. How are you?
Welcome. Great.
Good.
You. Welcome. Thank you for coming through.
Rasa, tell everybody a little bit about what you do, who you are, and what you do so that everybody can be acquainted with that too.
Okay. Well, I'm the co-founder, director of member services, and the secretary for TNM. You got to excuse my voice a little bit. I'm just getting over that bug going around. But I help with the members. I do a little mentoring. I've worked at the Department of Corrections for Pennsylvania for 14 years as a sergeant. So I've been around and listened to the stories, and I don't have any baby daddy drama myself, but I've listened to a lot of it and I've seen a lot. So that's all I can share about what I know about that.
I'm all alone, all by myself once again. That's okay. I don't mind being by myself because the baby daddy I had on the line is scared. If you're scared, say you're scared. He hung up. So we're going to wait. We're going to hope that another baby daddy calls in. And I know y'all all scared because y'all don't want to deal with us. But let's see if one brave baby daddy soul might call in tonight. In the meantime, I'm going to get right into this subject with you, Miss Sylvia.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you the truth. I hate every single one of my baby daddies. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Is it real hatred that you're feeling?
It's very borderline.
Is it disappointment, hurt, and pain that you're feeling?
I think my disappointment, hurt, and pain makes me feel like I hate them. I could say that.
Okay. All right. Okay, I hear that. There's anger and resentment, and that's what's causing the hatred.
Yes.
But, there's something that underlies all of that, right? And that's why I asked if it's the hurt and the pain and the disappointment that underlies all of that anger and resentment that you're feeling. And so you really need to get in touch with your anger and with the resentment and examine all of those issues surrounding anger and resentment so that you're not controlled by it any longer, because if it controls you, as long as you hold it, it controls you. It prevents you from moving on. And I'm sure you have lots of places to go, and you want to get there successfully. So you've got to let go of that, And not only that, the children deserve to have a mother and a father in their lives. And you don't want to say anything disparaging about your father in front of them, not unless still you don't want to say it in front of them, but you want the father in their lives as long as they're not abusive and they don't, or neglectful, or they're not nurturing and caring to the children. They belong in the children's lives. They deserve to have their dad in their lives. And when you disparage him, that makes them feel so bad. They don't know how to deal with the emotion that they feel when you're disparaging someone that they care about and that they love. So
but I don't know how to help that because, okay, I try to start out these conversations like a human being. I really do. I try to pull up all the, spirituality I might have left, all the education I might have, and I try to start the conversation decent. And then he starts talking. And see, this is the problem when he starts talking, okay, and saying ignorance out of his mouth. Just so much ignorant, mad, stupid stuff out of his mouth. And then I get so mad, I'm yelling. And you can hear me yelling in 3 different rooms in the house because, excuse my vernacular, because I have a crowd that understands what I mean. But, all my nigga comes out. He just brings it out.
Let me ask you
He brings it out.
What would happen if you said nothing, if you didn't respond when he's doing what you call acting ignorant? What do you think would happen if you just didn't respond? Maybe said, is this on the telephone when this is happening?
Yeah, now it's on the telephone because I don't go see him or anything like that.
Suppose you just say goodbye. I'll talk to you when you can talk to me like a mature adult and hang up. That's all. Tell him that you're not going to engage in this kind of vitriol anymore, and that because you want to move on with your life, and so you're not going to engage him anymore. That his ignorance is his problem, and so you're laying the burden of his ignorance at his feet. You're not going to take up that burden. And that's big enough to do that because you're doing it for the children. How old are your children?
I guess in a way we kind of feeding each other. Like we feed into each other. It seems like when I ignore, he gets madder. When he ignores, I get madder. I don't know what that's about.
So what do you do? So what? So what if he gets mad? if you ignore him. You're just not going to engage anymore. You're going to be an adult and be much more mature because you're thinking about your children. They come first, not how I feel about him. My children come first, and I want this energy, this negative energy that I'm putting out at him is taking up the space that I need for love and caring for my children, and I'm not going to do that anymore. That's what you need to say to yourself. And
that's
and
so
it's a process.
hard. And, there's so much emotion. Even though he tries to play so hard, but I know he's hurt, too. And I'm hurt. And if we both feeling this hurt, how do we start a conversation and talk without it?
Right, that's right. Well, you can't talk if you can't get beyond the pain and the hurt. You can tell each other that you're feeling pain and hurt, because what you're hearing from him, what he's hearing from you is the anger. He's not hearing the pain and the hurt. That's what underlies all of this.
Right. I guess you're right in a way. And, I think in my life I've come to a place where when I tried to share my hurt, when I cried or whatever, the response was so cold-blooded that came back. I got this cold-blooded kind of response back that I don't know how to describe it. It just made me feel like if you can't beat them, join them, kind of
Yeah, I understand. I mean, we've all been there, including me. We've all been there, but you got to rise above it. And you're rising above it because your children mean more to you than him or anybody else. And that's what you have to think about. Think about the children. And they need you. They need you to be as rational and as sane as you possibly can because you're their role model, You don't want them growing up and being angry and resentful like you're being towards their father right now or towards this man, whether he's their father or not. You don't want them growing up having feelings of carrying around these feelings, this burden of hatred with them for men because they've seen how their mother reacted to a man. They're learning from you. Every moment they're learning from you, and that's what you have to remember. And so you want them to learn how to love and how to be responsible, how to grow up to be mature, an adult about certain things, how to resolve issues. And, that's what you want them to learn. You want them to learn the positives of life. You want to share with them that yes, there are sometimes things that are not going to work out the way you want them to. But you don't let it hang on and let it bring you down, because this anger, this vitriol that you have towards your husband or your baby daddy is going to wear you out and weigh you down and won't leave you any room for love and nurturing and caring for your children.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. They do get lost in the mix. They get lost in all the drama a lot of the time. And I forget they're even in the room sometime when I'm so mad. And I need to start thinking about that they're sitting right there in the room, I guess. I
always think about they're learning from me.
Right.
They're learning
That's
from
true.
me. These are my children. They're learning from me. And children come first. They need us. They come first. They need our guidance and our direction. And so you have to put your best foot forward, and you have to think about, all right, I have these painful feelings, but it will go away. And it goes away. The older you get, the pain does resolve itself in some way. If you've been married 4 times and there was pain with the first one, pain with the second one, but it resolved itself because you went on to the next one. So
it did. I mean, it kind of did. Maybe I kind of carried it, too. Miss Sylvia, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to bring in a couple other callers, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And we can all talk together more about what we do about all these issues, because I know it's such a deep topic. I wonder if we're not going to have another show about this. Hold on 1 second. Let me see who this caller is. Hello, caller. This is the Lady DJ Rayne. Who am I speaking with? Hello.
Hello. Hi. This is Shonda Pertilla.
Hi, Shonda. I'm so glad that you called in. I was like, I wonder if she's going to really, really call me.
If I said I was, I am, and I'm here. And I'm happy to be here.
Well, Shonda, I have a couple of other ladies on the line with me. I have Sylvia Rosario, and I also have Rasafire, DJ Rasafire on the line. And there's one more caller, so I'm going to let them in while we're all getting acquainted. Let me see who this is. Hello, caller. May I help you? This is Lady Rayne.
Hi, this is Vanilla Sky. I was just calling to see how the show's sounding.
And going. Hi, Vanilla Sky. And Vanilla Sky is one of our co-hosts who comes on every week. And we give thanks for you and the work that you do with for I'm going to say this wrong. He says my name wrong all the time. Merlot.
Merlot, yeah.
And we give thanks for you guys hosting our show every week. It really is a blessing, and the connection is awesome. And I have all these wonderful people on the line here, and I want Shonda to tell us a little bit about who she is and what she does.
Okay, well, I am a professional counselor, and I'm the founder of Dreamwell, LLC, and it's a counseling therapeutic counseling services that we provide. And I've worked a lot with youth extensively for the past 8 years. And I work with youth and adults with various issues, mental health issues, other disability-related issues. And I've also worked with families and just an array of people from different walks of life. And so that's what I bring to the show.
Oh, I'm so glad that you came. I feel like, yay! I just don't want to mess up. Let me try it. Try to see if I can do the clapping. I did it. Okay. I'm gonna work this thing out, ladies. Okay, so I want everybody to understand where I'm from. My name used to be Lady Dirt, and I ran the 305 Miami-Dade Street like there wasn't nothing nice in the whole universe. And I did that all my young life, and doing that was, in a way I learned a lot of things about how to survive. I know things about surviving that most people don't know, and I could probably survive just about anything. But I also learned a lot about street culture. I learned a lot about myself, and I was blessed enough to have some mentors come into my life and teach me how to redirect my energy and do something better and something different that stopped the loop. But so I'm just going to talk. I'm going to talk straight because for me, Shonda, what I was just explaining to Miss Sylvia Rosario, I was just explaining that I am just over it with them being mad, okay? When they tell me I'm not down with this baby mama drama, I want to know why is it even called baby mama drama? Because to me, you the one bringing the drama. That's, it's one-sided, I know, and I hope that a baby daddy calls in. If they don't, they deserve this whole show to be not about them. But I feel like, I don't trust them. I don't trust none of them with my kids because they like to run the streets, okay? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like I'm better than them, but they like to run the street. I don't want my sons to learn that. And I don't like the way they speak to me. And when I used to be a different girl, I'm not going to lie, I used to be very sweet. I'll cry at the drop of a hat. But it was so gangster with me that I decided I better be gangster too or they're going to kill me, So I don't know how to reverse that. I just don't know what to do to reverse that attitude, or to get along. And that's why I was asking you ladies to call in today so that maybe you could share with us both, touching on what the men can do too and what us ladies can do to be able to talk to each other different and stop this.
Right. Well, I can start. This is Shonda. as we were talking earlier, I mentioned to you just a short tweet from this week, and it was that we are reflections, our relationships are reflections of us. Our relationships are reflections of who we are. And if you don't like what you see, change you. And I say that because you are the only one you have control over. You know, those guys, you have no control over them. And usually when you change, a person will have to respond to the change in you. And so, you know what I mean? So I don't know that there's much that we can do to change, or that a woman can do to change a man, but a woman can change herself. You can change what you put up with. You know what I'm saying? You can change how this person interacts with you.
Right.
And
absolutely right. She's absolutely right. But go ahead. Mm-hmm.
And so that was so that was just something that it just kind of popped up in my heart this week. And I want to share something about me, is that I have 2 children and I'm divorced. And there are things that come up that may be considered drama, but they only become drama when I let it become drama. Because I can quickly shut it down.
Yep.
And I can quickly shut it down by realizing that this person is who they are. They're who they were, and they're still that same way. So I have to choose to react or not react. I know what I'm going to do. I know what my responsibilities are, and that's all I'm responsible for. So in a way, it's hard to stop expecting, because it's like, you see your kids and you're like, wow, these are like beautiful human beings, beautiful spirits. Why doesn't the father see the same thing? And why aren't they treating them the same way that I am, and spending the time and, all the other things that moms like us do? So, that's my take on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I agree wholeheartedly. I was giving you the prescription for change, and she's giving you the theory for changing. Yes, and that's so important, that you change your behavior so that he will change his.
Right. And I'm hearing that from both sides of the fence. It's so great because it's worded 2 different ways, and so it could really touch, if you let it, that it starts with you. And I'm devil's advocate, so first thing, with the stubbornness is, excuse me, first thing with the stubbornness in me is I feel this pressure like, well, I'm already, doing enough. Why I got to be, now I got to do the changing so he can do the changing. So, I know that that's wrong. I know it's wrong, but it don't make it not come up in my head. Like, why is that my responsibility? Why do I have to do the changing? Why can't he change? But I hear you when you say you can't change the other, and there's something deep that you have to accept, that you can't change the other person.
Now, what is for you? The changes that you make, your motive would not be necessarily to make him change, but your motive is how do I cope with this man that's going to be in the rest of my life?
Right.
How do I cope with this? How do I maintain stability, not just physically but mentally, spiritually? How do I maintain a balance so that I can be happy, so that I can be stable and available for my children? So the changes that you make are all for you and your children. And that means buffering out any negatives, any negativity, any baby daddy drama, any of that. You're buffering that. Like, you are going to shield your children as much as you can from that. And you're going to shield yourself by creating some boundaries. If an argument comes up, you can either participate, but you've already done that, so you kind of know where it's going. You know what I mean? I'm sure there may be conversations and arguments that you've had over and over and over.
The same fight,
foundation,
yes.
The same one. So you already know where it's going. So it's like each time you see yourself going that way, it's like you have a choice. Like, you already know where he stands on that issue, right?
Right. And I guess for the sake of just being fair, these same rules apply to both parties, you know, like, because I know some of us are very hard to deal with. And I'm sure that there are some good men that are dealing with the same thing that I deal with, you know, and they probably need to be thinking about this same thing. How can they change themselves, you know, to get along with these women and bring this more positive.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be men and women. It could be a friend, you know, that has anger and resentment towards anybody. You change your behavior, the other person has to change his or her behavior too, because their response to you has got to be different. It has to match the change that you're making.
Right. Right, and that's so hard when, you know, it's about being consistent, I guess, because the few times where I did try to change the way that I communicated, it's like he knows all the buttons. So, you know, it's this constant push to bring out the old thing. And just the consistency is really hard to do, just to stay calm while this is going on and the phone is ringing and the text is going and all the stupidness is going on, you know. It's really hard to overcome that and be consistent for me. But I see that that's going to help me in the long run. I see what you're saying about that. I wanted to know how you ladies think this stuff. I mean, you guys are in the field. You work with families. And just for the sake of all the parents, I just wanted to know, how did this really affect the children? I mean, on a level that we don't recognize.
Definitely impact the children. It can change their lives and who they are, who they're going to be. Because, like I said, you're their role model. So if you want positive change to take place for your children, then you have to make positive steps.
Yeah. And I say something too? This is Rasa. I gave birth to one child. Okay, he's now 30 years old, so he's a grown man. But at that time, you know, I told his father, listen, I'm pregnant. You can be in his life or not be in his life. Whatever happens after your decision is on you, okay? And he chose not to be involved in his son's life at all, okay? And so I never went after him for child support. I never bothered him. I never said anything to him. After that, I've always made his son available where he knows where he is, so that he could get in touch if he chose to do so, okay? And it was his choice not to be involved. And so just this year, well, not this year, last year, but just a few months ago, I should say maybe 5 months ago, that man asked his son to come and see him or to call him and talk to him. You know, and at that time, you know, when the man is already raised and you had no part in it, I'm sure he felt very small in this man's life, because he has grandchildren now that he knows nothing of. His son knew nothing of him growing up. I mean, he knew about him. I told him about him, but whenever he asked, you know, I told him, I said, listen, I am not in control of what your father does, the types of decisions he makes. If he chooses not to be in your life, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about that. I've done all I can do. So all I can say is just love him from the place of that's just your father, okay, and just keep moving, you know, make yourself proud, do what you want to do with your life, and if you don't like the way he lived his, choose not to live yours as he lived his. And so, you know, he's grown up to be a pretty decent man, without much of a father figure. He's still grown up to be pretty decent a man. And I know I did the best that I could.
And that's all you can hope for.
That's right. And I didn't bash his father or anything like that. I told him all the good parts about him, you know, how he's artistic and different things like that. So, you know, he knows that part. And then he knows the part that he knows, that his father wasn't around. But it makes it better for him. At least he can grow up as much positive without his father, you know, as was possible. And so if anything, I would recommend that, if they can't be amicable or loving with you as the mother of their children, you have to learn to let that go, because it's not about them, it's about the children. And so as long as these children know that you're there and that you love them and you care for them, that's the best that you can do.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
well. What about you, Shonda?
Well said. Very well said.
Yeah, that was really good. I mean, but not because you didn't do the drama.
Right. But I could have done the drama. I could have done the drama.
And that's not right.
I could have done the drama. I chose not to do the drama.
Yeah, and it's just like, but you have always been to me stellar, and and that has a lot to do with how you're raised too, and what your thought processes are, I guess, too. You're just so stellar of a person, period. You guys got to know rasafire is like the head mentor of my company, the New Movement. She is the person who is over all the mentors. And she's just got this strong spiritual grounding that makes her like Superwoman to me. I don't know where even it comes from. It's so deep, and that's why I'm picking on her. Because she just has this theme running through her entire life. But in what ways, Shonda, have you seen this affect the children too? I know you work with youth.
I do, and I have a 5-year-old and I have an 8-year-old, and I've been divorced it's coming up to 3 years this year. And what's really interesting is I was really surprised that my kids seem not to be affected by the divorce. And it's just recent, and I think because they were younger. But just recently, actually this week, my 8-year-old daughter, and I don't know whether it's just because she's older and now she's thinking things through and actually seeing the dynamics, of our family. And she's been inquiring, like, Mommy, why don't we live together? And I would love if we lived together. And so we had this hour-long talk, and, she cried and things like that. But before now, it's like, and I guess because before the divorce, it really was. I mean, my ex, he worked a lot. He didn't spend a lot of time with us doing family things. So it was the three of us. And we just continued that. Like, I continued that. We moved, sold the house, moved our separate ways, and I just continued doing what I've always done, which is create a safe, stable, loving environment for my kids. So they knew that we didn't live in the same place. But we didn't miss a beat, and, just everything I've always done with them. And they just, just seem to just adjust easily. But I think, my daughter now is 8, and she sees children at school, and she never sees their father. Their father is involved. He's not quite what I would want him to be as a father. Like, there's a lot of work to be done, but he is involved. And and so she knows on a weekly basis she sees her dad, but she knows that there are other kids that she's never seen their dad. And she also has friends that have a very stable father figure that, one of her girlfriends, it's like their dad and mom is always involved in things that they do. And I think that's kind of drawing out the questions. And, so I had to just have a heart-to-heart and just, explain to her that, Mommy and Daddy are better friends not living together. And because I didn't, and that was one of the reasons why it came about. It was, not only was I not happy, but I did not want my kids to grow up thinking or seeing mommies and daddies not being loving, mommies and daddies arguing. Like, I'd rather them see no mommy-daddy interaction between us than to see that interaction. And, you know what I mean? And so for me, and then that's the other reason why I say change yourself. Make sure you're right, because you're with them consistently, and you're going to be their foundation. And so the changes that you make, it's all about protecting the stability of your family and your household and the lives of your children. So the changes that you make are all about you and the children. It's not about making him do anything. It's not about pressing a button to see if he's going to act right or he's going to straighten up, because he's probably not. He'll change when he's ready. You know, whatever circumstance kind of gives him a jolt, you know, that he's going to be a better person, better father. You don't know when that's coming, but you can't wait for that either, because you got children who are watching everything, and they're growing, and they're, you know, it's just so, I mean, it's just life blossoming, and you can't afford to let anything in that is going to interrupt that blossoming and that growing. Yeah. So that's what I've done. That's what I've done, and that's what's most important to me, and that's why when those, you know, that drama comes up, it rises up, it's like I don't want it. I press it back down because it changes me for the worse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not something that happens. I mean, like you said, it's like it's hard for you. And I think it's hard for everybody. It's hard for me. It has been hard for me. But it's a process. So don't think that you have to just change this right away. This is something that, you know, as you realize how it affects you on a mental, actually every level, because your heart races and you get all upset and then you can't deal with the children. Like, you don't want that at all. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so the changes that you make are going to be because you want to be a better person, and you want to, and you are. I mean, you as a mom, it's like you are the guardian. You are the gardener. You know, you are the one that's fertilizing this life. And your home is a garden. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, he can be out there or doing whatever, but this is your garden, and these are your flowers. These are your kids.
Right. And Sylvia, you were talking about something earlier, too, and I'm hearing both of you. Like, I understand everything you're saying, Shonda, and I'm feeling you guys, but at the same time, it's like, you know, like, well, who's going to help me pay for my garden? Like, I mean, like,
look at what you've done. Look at what you've done, Lady Rayne. Look at what you've done with your life, right? You don't need, we need all the support that we can get, but if we don't get support, we're not going to stand still and do nothing.
Exactly.
You did something, you know?
You're not going to fold. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not going to fold because he's not doing. You can't. You cannot. Your life is worth more. You know, there's purpose in your life and your kids' life, and because you cannot be stalled, you know, because this person is not doing what they need to do.
Right.
You know, you can't. It's just like, and I know it's not fair. It's like, you know, he just gets to do whatever he wants to do. Well, you know what?
Right.
He's also, it's like reap what you sow. That's what you're sowing. This is what I'm saying.
And guess what? Guess who's losing? Guess who's losing? He loses because he won't get to be the father that he needs to be if he's going to be carrying his what do you call it, daddy drama. You know, the baby. You know, if he's involved in the baby daddy drama, he's the one that loses, and hopefully eventually he'll see that and make the change himself. You know, but you can't, like she says, you can't be stalled because he's not being the father that he needs to be or the person or the role model that he needs to be. You know?
And that's respect that he'll earn from his children, you know. And that's not something that he can expect to walk into their life and get. That's something that we've worked to earn all of the child's life. And so he would have to put his work in to gain that respect as well, you know. And a lot of them think, oh, that's my baby. They talk about it, okay, but when it comes down to standing in front of that child will have no respect for him, you know.
That's right.
And prayerfully, they'll have a little bit of love for him because of the fact that he's just their father. But that is earned. And if he chooses not to earn his place in his child's life, then that's on him. That's his decision. That's his little demons he's going to have to deal with, you know.
Right, and he'll probably regret it in the long run. Like
exactly.
Your other guest was talking about her 30-year-old son has just heard from his father. I know that he's feeling regret now that he hasn't been in his son's life.
Mhm.
Right.
And it's so true. And
I just met my father last year before last, something like that. And I think that's one of the big problems, too. I think that this is like a trend that's going on in our community. And I guess, speaking for the drama, I bring my share of drama, and I do it. And I just want to say this because I know a lot of young men are like, and older men, they're really so tired of us with it. But by the time I'm bringing the drama, it's really because, one, I'm overwhelmed. I'm financially overwhelmed.
Right.
You know,
right.
I see my kids every day. I see kids so much that I can sing every jingle to every cartoon. I don't know when's the last time I saw anything but a cartoon. My conversations are with kids. 90% of the conversations I have are with children, you know, and I don't get to go. It's like they're connected to me by my ankle. You know, I can't move. I can't go any place, you know, and I see myself spend my last dime, and then I see this dude, you know, buying Ciroc. And, you know, it just irritates me, you know, like buying bigger rims for the car and all of this. So by the time I'm calling him to help me, it's because, not because I want to speak to him, I need him to help me. And then it's, well, why you didn't call me before now? Why can't let me see my kid? When I'm not stopping him from seeing his kid, I do stop them from getting the kids. And I want to say, like, there's a fine line with that because some of these people don't understand. When you bring yourself, okay, I know I met them, how I met them, and we was all hood niggas, whatever you want to call it, about that life in the street, okay, great. But when I decided that I wasn't going to be down with that anymore is when I had my son. And I had 2 daughters, and then I had a son. And, like, my son, to me, represented, actually I had a daughter and then I had a son. And my son represented to me, get out the street, you know. Like, that was the moment. I still did a lot of dirt, but the street part of it was done. You know, I thought to myself, I don't want to bury my son, and I don't want to go get him from jail. So I'm just going to go down the street, and that's going to be just that, you know.
Right.
And it was nothing for me to make that choice. I was done. And so here I was, you know, I love street men, you know, what we call hood niggas. I love those men. They got a lot of passion and a lot of drive, and they got a lot of drama. And maybe at the time I was kind of connected to that, you know, and so I kept repeating the same foolishness, you know, connecting myself to dramatic men and then getting mad when they started the drama. You know, but now I'm coming from a different place now. When I call them, and when I say you can't get your baby, it's not because I'm being mean. It's the way they live, you know, that I don't want my kids to learn that. And by the time I call them for something, it's because I need help. And when I get something
well, you know what,
like,
hopefully you can resolve that with your children's fathers because they do deserve to have a relationship with their children, but I certainly understand that you don't want them to see this life that will cause them so much pain, and may even lose your son because of it. So I perfectly understand that, but hopefully you can have a conversation with the father of your children, so that they will understand that. You have a reason, and the reason is a good one.
Right.
You know?
So what do we do? Do we, like, it seems like no matter what you say, you're wrong. You know, like, do we set it up where maybe they meet somewhere? I mean, I don't know how they hide
well,
that kind of
there are
lifestyle.
options. There are several options, and that is one of the options. You know, you can invite them to your home to see each other. Or now, if there's a court order, there's nothing that you can do about that. But otherwise, you can arrange for them to be in their lives in other ways besides their having to go into the street to see their father and living in the street life.
I would also suggest, lady, this is something that I would suggest, and I've done this, although my kids do go weekly to be with their father. But one thing that the kids love is, and this is not them just going with him, but this is like, where the four of us, whether it's going out to eat or, or something fun where you could be involved and they're not just going if you feel that their safety, that is in question by being with their father, arranging sort of a date.
Yeah.
Right.
For, the so that they can be together and you can have, and kids love that because they like the idea of mommy and daddy being in the same place with them.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
I know that's a big reason why they don't want to help you financially. If they don't get to see the kids, then they want to know why you expect them to help them. And, I heard Rasa saying, I didn't ask them for child support. Is there a place where you're being too passive, where you're saying, okay, if you don't want to be in their life, fine, and if you don't want to pay child support, fine. Is there a place, ladies, where it's too passive?
Where what? A place where what?
Where you're being too passive. Is there a point where you're...
Oh, too passive? No, I mean, that's the way
you've gone
she chose
from
to
dramatic
deal
to
with,
passive.
I think it's a choice. I think, and I think Rasa did. That's just where she didn't feel like going through all of that. And it's like, if you don't feel like the drama, which that probably could have brought drama, the fact that he didn't want to be in her son's life. But I think I don't know if I would say it's passive. I think that it's a choice.
I think it's choice too because it was actually his father's responsibility to be in his son's life, whether his mother wanted him to be there or not. So it is a choice that she made to avoid the drama, and and just one option that she exercised. There are other options that you can exercise in order to avoid the drama, but that was the one that she chose. Mm-hmm.
And I think in some situations, the whole child support thing, it's kind of like meant to, it's kind of like an attack in a way on the man because there are different reasons why people do whatever they do. If it's to support your children, that's one thing. But I think, it's like if you know that it's going to be an issue with this man, you decide, I don't even want to go through with that. I don't want to deal with the drama because I know he's going to have an issue or he doesn't have the money or he doesn't have a job. So that means if he can't pay child support, he's going to go to jail or, whatever the drama may be.
Right.
But I can't say that I would think that you are being passive for not requesting child support.
Right.
And for
me,
I can't say that
I started off with no education and then I got an education later on. But I know for a lot of ladies that I'm connected to, they just obviously really can't afford it by themselves. And they get so intimidated with this whole, you look what you're doing to me, that they just stop trying to get support. And I was just wondering if that's not a really bad decision when you know you can't afford to do this by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should. I mean, if you need this is the thing. I get child support for my kids. And and my job it's pretty good. So, but you still need help because the children are so much. If you want to give them a well-rounded life, extracurricular activities, parties, whatever it is that kids like, it requires money. That's outside of feeding them and clothing them. The fact that every other week a pair of jeans has a hole in it, or and it, all these things you have to constantly replace, haircuts, all that stuff. It costs money. So for those women that that are thinking about what this man has to say. It's not about him. It's not about what you're doing to me. The fact that I am struggling and your kids are, are not getting what they need, it's not about him. It's not about him. And there's a process, in the courts by which they decide how much he's going to pay. And so, for those women that are not, because they're afraid he's going to say, oh, baby mama drama, or why are you doing this to me? It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of responsibility.
Right.
And being the person, the parent that has custody of a child, it's like, in my opinion, I know, I can't just live anywhere. And I'm going to need a bigger place because I have 2 kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so all of those things, it's like, I know that my check is just ours. You know what I mean? It's just everybody's check, And it's like, but his has been calculated. His contribution has been calculated. This is how much, no matter what extra I want to do for the kids. And that actually is an area that, at least is an issue for me, that there's so much more that is required for kids. But I would definitely suggest that, and a lot of times I think women care too much about what men think about, and just being too sensitive toward their emotions. It's like, it's not about you. It's not about me and you. It's about the kids. And I happen to think that in situations like that you do need a mediator, and that is the court. Because you want consistency. You want for someone, because it's some people you have to make them be responsible, but you can't do it, so you need an outside source that has authority to make them do that.
And that's what Sylvia was saying, by there's several different ways. There are ways you can do this. Yeah.
Have you ever heard, if you've ever read Steve Harvey's books or heard him talk about the dynamics between men and women, and he says that men don't listen to words, but they listen and they respond to actions and consequences. It's true.
Right.
It's so true. You can gab all that drama. He's going to say what you don't like to hear. Oh, you're bringing me all this drama. Less talking, more action, it'll get his attention. And you got it, and it can't be from perspective of I'm hurting him. It's like, this is what we need. Okay,
it's not about him. It's about the children.
Yeah.
It's not about him.
Right.
It's about the children.
Take action.
And it's not about me. That's another thing I'm seeing. It's not about either one of us. Right.
And it's not about getting back at each other. It's not about being vindictive. It's about what's best. This is what my kids need. I'm not trying to drag you down the drain and have you be homeless or anything like that. And the court looks at that. They look at what the income is and what, they're not trying to, drain a man's check to the point that they can't live,
Right. They're not trying to bankrupt him. No.
No, they're not.
Mm.
Right. So I would definitely suggest women that need help that, that they do what they need to do. And it's good to have a mediator in doing that.
Yes, and I was going to bring that up, too, because, I just want to say first, there are some resources. I know I've been playing devil's advocate, but I have been surviving pretty much raising my kids, with the help of my partner lately, but before this, it was pretty much by myself. And I just want to say to women, go get some food stamps. Don't act like you don't know what they are. And go ahead and go to WIC. Go to the WIC office, WIC. They will help you. Stop trying to shop and get Sean John and go to the thrift store. There are clothes there, okay? And the Payless Shoe Source is the bomb, okay? You can get 2-for-1 sales at the Payless Shoe Source. So I just want to say that there is a way to survive, and I'm aware of that. And you don't need the drama. I know that it's frustrating, and I do want to touch on this topic again when there's some men that are bold enough to touch on the topic with me, because I know you guys are listening. You know what I'm saying? And for a bunch of men that are always calling me, telling me they soldier life, I don't see any soldiers calling in here. Y'all scared. I see that. If you're scared, say you're scared. But I know that one of these days we're going to get Dr. Tracy Andrus in here. He said that he would try to come. So I see that he's not here, so I know that he didn't make it. But I know that he's so down with talking with us, and I want to get us back together again on this topic with some men on the line. And I think what this brought out of me is that there's some accepting that I have to do, because I've learned the survival part. But there is a lot of resentment, and I think for me to accept that these people are who they are, whether it's your baby mama or your baby daddy, what I hear these ladies saying is you cannot change the other person. It doesn't matter how nasty you get, grimy you act, what kind of lingo you use. You're just pressing buttons that's going to irritate you. Like, you think that you're hurting them, but you're really just tapping on buttons that are going to irritate you. And whether you're the dad or the mom, if you're the person who has those kids, you cannot be, like, I notice when I get into these things, I'm snapping at everybody, You can't be the right kind of parent when you're just mad and then you resent everything, your kids, your phone bill, you're snapping at everybody, and everybody's the devil,
That's right.
I hear you ladies say, okay, look in the mirror, start working on how you're reacting to everybody else's actions.
Right.
And the reaction is just making more and more drama,
Right. Yep.
And I think we need to all think about that, And I want to talk
remember
to you
to think about the children first.
Right. It's about the kids. And there's a lot of love. Like I hear everybody say, I hate my baby mama. Oh, I hate him. He made me so sick. I hear this every day. I am a ghetto princess. I hear this every day. But I'm going to tell you like I'm going to tell my audience like my dog tell me in Miami-Dade. He said, that ain't nothing but love. When you arguing like that, it's something else to that. Okay, because if you really didn't love them no more, you didn't care at all, you wouldn't be getting so excited all the time. Okay,
right.
But it's hurt.
So,
you know what?
It's hurt.
It is hurt. And one thing I'd like to say that in all of this, underlying the whole drama, expectations, all of that, it's that people have been hurt. Like their expectations have not been met. They have not been loved properly, and they're kind of resentful for that. And I just wanted, the last thing that I want to say, I know that you're probably wrapping up, is that
okay, we got time.
We have time? Okay.
We got time. I made a lot of time for this.
So, it really is, it's hurt. And I think the whole, I guess the bottom line is that we have to heal. And in my pondering what healing is, what is healing? Like, how can you heal? And, I think there are three ways. And these are touching on different areas of hurt. But forgiveness. Forgiveness what they may have done. Acceptance for who they are and what the situation is, and understanding what it is, understanding who they are, understanding who you are, and then releasing it, like letting it go, like it is what it is. Like, it's like I think we just get in as women. I know we want to fix things. We want, we just put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do so much when really, again, we can only change ourselves. We only have control over ourselves. And anything else that anybody else is bringing into your life, it's like you have to allow it. If you don't want it, don't allow it. And they are who they are. And it is, and the bottom line is acceptance, understanding, acceptance, forgiveness, letting it go.
Yep.
Yeah, we do have to heal, and I think that's the thing that I'm challenged with at this point is trying to heal, is very hurtful. You know, when you're in love with somebody and then they're not in love with you anymore, this is very hurtful for everybody involved. And I'm sure that it's hurtful for the men, too, you know, where you have this woman that would do anything for you, and then now only thing she wants you to do is cut a check because she don't even want to hear your voice anymore. Like, that can't feel good, you know, like, so I understand that the whole thing really, all this little drama, we try to act like we hate each other so much, that ain't nothing but love in that. And we need to start acting out of our love and not out of our anger and our hurt. And and then maybe we could actually talk to each other.
And not out of your disappointment, because that's what underlies all of that. The hurt, the pain, the disappointment. Yep. Yeah.
That really stuck out to me today when you told me that on the phone. I Ms. Rosario, I really took that with me for a minute, because I think that that's what I did to heal my situation, you know, like I stay in tune with what I've been through so that we can all have these kind of conversations. But I think when I started talking to my baby daddies out of my love for them, I started understanding that they did not need me to love them, and I did not need to fall out of love. You know, this was a big epiphany for me. I don't need to not love them to be okay. You know, like, and I think before I was digging for how do you not love them, let me figure out how I not love you, so I think I'll be angry. So that way I don't have to love you since you obviously don't love me, so let me just act up, you know. And when I decided
let me just say this to you. You cannot love them by programming yourself not to love them without the anger. You can just say, I cannot love this person anymore because it's not doing me any good. And so now I have to learn how to not love him so that the pain is gone, and I'm not acting out of resentment.
And
for me, I just go ahead.
This is Shonda. Can I just add this when it comes to love? And I know love is something that people put different definitions or whatever on, but look from a universal standpoint, the bottom line is we are to love everyone. Okay? If you believe that love comes from the Creator and it is in all of us, you don't have to be in a relationship, an intimate relationship, as in, you know, baby daddy or husband or wife.
Exactly. Love from a distance. I call it love from a distance.
When you step outside of that relationship, and you shouldn't, and actually, in my opinion, you should not stay in a relationship that you're not happy in because of love, because whether you are in or out, you still love.
Right.
So that love for your baby daddies are not going to go anywhere. You should love him, but put that in perspective, you know, and you know, what you're doing with your children comes first, because it is the positive. It is everything you're doing that you want to be doing is positive, but the love is still going to flow. It should flow through you to him, to them, to everybody. And you don't have to define relationships to have that love.
Right. Yep. And I had to learn that. You're so right, because I remember I never knew the words for it all, but I just started telling my son's father, I love you dearly from a distance, you know, and you can come and see your son whenever you want to. And no, I don't want to see something bad happen to you. And I'll work with you on this child support thing, you know. Used to be, he would call me and say, they're going to lock me up. And I'd be like, well, good riddance to bad rubbish. Let them lock you up, you know. But now I will go down there and I will say, you know, we're okay for right now, or try to help him some kind of way, because for me, him locked up is not him helping me, you know. So I have boundaries that I set, like you said, Sandra. I have boundaries that I have set, you know, and like you were saying, Sylvia, I have had to learn to accept these people for who they are and change how I react to them. And you are spot on when you say it does change the way they react to you. And I know this because when I used to be hollering, it didn't help me. okay?
Yeah.
When I started acting like this, I remember my baby daddy saying, something wrong with this girl. She done went and did some, you in a cult? What's wrong with you? Like, they would make all these crazy remarks to me, you know, because I started saying love and light before I hung up the phone, love and light. You know, and they'd be like, what is it, love and light? Oh, Lord, you done went and what did you do? You know, like, but they got quiet, you know. It was no way to cuss when I'm saying love and light. Like, and even if they would cuss, I would say, I remember my son's dad said, you know, did you ever love me? I don't think you ever loved me. And I said, I'm so sorry that you feel like that because I still love you right now. No, but this has to be addressed. And, like, if you don't want to address it right now, you can call me back when you're calm and hang up the phone. You know, and after a while, you would just be amazed how they call you like a little puppy. They don't know what to do because you've gone insane, you know, and they just talk to you differently. It just happens like that.
Yes.
And so I know that this whole show I played devil's advocate, and I did that because I wanted people to understand that I do get it, you know. And I know you ladies are so good at what you do that you would bring out the sensible side. But I do get it, everything you said, and I so much appreciate it. And I want to bring you back on another time, too, and talk about this in a little deeper, like break it down part by part, and maybe we can even share some resources. But the best I can say is reach out for resources, you know. I can't call any websites right off the top of my head, but if you just reach out for resources, you will find it. There are places that will help you with child care, you know, and, you know, the church mothers still live. Like, you need to go to the church house sometimes, ladies. I know you don't feel like you might be worthy. That's a whole nother show. Okay, Jesus love you too. Go to the church. And tell these ladies, cry out to them and tell them, I just need an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. I just want to be alone without my kids for a minute, you know. And they will help you. There's somebody there that loves kids. Trust me. You're not going to understand them, but they do. Like, they love kids. And they will help you, you know. Ladies, what do you think about where you might think somebody that's in these situations, even single dads, might find some resources? I know you're on the spot because I didn't ask.
Well, they can listen to your show. That's one resource. They can hear this conversation. Another resource, you know. They can make an appointment to go see a therapist to talk about how to parent, how to parent my children.
Right. That's probably another topic as well, because when it comes to reaching out to a therapist and you're talking about the African American community, especially, you know, it's we're just kind of getting on board, I think, with therapy. Unless it's mandated or something like that, we kind of skirt around that and we won't go because we think, oh, it means that we're crazy or something's wrong with me. And it's not even that. You know, you'll find that when you go to a counselor or a therapist, it's kind of it's a person that's outside of your realm. It's outside of your family, outside of your friends, someone that, you know, whatever you talk about is going to be confidential. So this person is
not only is it confidential, but should be objective as well.
Right.
You know, you have an objective ear, somebody who's not on the other person's side.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
So it's a safe place. It would be a safe place, and and that's something that I think in our community that we have to get more comfortable with. And I would say that, and I don't know that there's where this resource might be, but I know that in my work I've had clients that have reported, like, I can't find a good counselor, or if they're African American, maybe they feel more comfortable with an African American therapist, you know, or if it's a woman that's been a victim of domestic violence, she might be more comfortable with somebody that understands, that has experience working, you know, with someone that's been through that.
Right.
And so just
that's what I did today. It was so easy to do. I looked for an African-American therapist, a female African-American therapist, and that's how I found both of you ladies in a relatively short amount of time. You know, and I'm so glad that you guys are bringing this out because I just want to say, as the Dade County queen that I am, your Medicaid card will pay for some therapy. Okay?
Yes. Yes, it will.
Get your book out.
Yes, for those who
they do give you a book. Okay? Stop acting like reading is fundamental, dog. They give you a book, and they got some links. Okay? They go with your whatever it's called, HMO or whatever. They got a link to the thing that you chose to cover your Medicaid. So you go to the link or you open up the book, crack the book, and go down family counseling, okay, and make an appointment. The Medicaid card covers that, okay. And if you don't
go on Amazon and get a book. You're right. Go on Amazon and get a book about parenting from afar or something. You know?
Exactly. Read a book. You know, you can do that. I have a lot of, let me tell this fancy word. I got a lot of literary mentors, you know, and I read their books because I'm a hermit and I don't like going anywhere and sitting in anywhere. But, like, I know that I had to get counseling for my family before, and I used my Medicaid card. I know that. And it worked out just fine for us. Things was calm and peaceful. We wasn't consistent, and that's another thing with black folks. We don't want to be consistent. But if you consistent with it, it will.
Well, no, I'm going to disagree with that. I don't want to put black folks in a bag like that. So I'm going to disagree.
Well,
with
I don't know. I don't feel like my camp. This side over here is where I'm at.
Some people are not consistent, but they don't have to be black. Okay?
That's true. But I know with me.
I didn't hear that.
I'm not consistent. I'll just say that.
Oh, you mean the families are not consistent with going?
Yes,
not a lot of your life for not being consistent. You know that?
Hold on 1 second, ladies. That looks like 2 more people called in, and one of them been on hold a long time. So let's see what they are.
Okay.
Hello, this is Lady Rayne. Who am I speaking with?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, this
can
is
you hear me?
Mr. Harper. How are you all? I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. I'm so glad I found the show.
I'm glad that you did, too. I was going to open up the phone lines. Don't worry. I wouldn't have left you like that.
No. I was listening to everyone, and I wrote a book on this topic. My name is Nisa Harper, and my book is called Confessions of a Crazy Baby Mama. And the ending part of it is, the end part of that title is No More Pain. And it deals with, unwanted pregnancies. It deals with child support. It deals with when he has more than one child as his mom. And it deals with conflict resolution. And I was listening to, I'm not sure who it was, when she was just speaking about how she had to learn a coping technique when things went sour with with her child's father. And that's one of the techniques and tools. I talk about that in my book of learning how to disconnect when it becomes unhealthy. Not because the other person needs you to, but knowing your triggers when you need to disconnect from that father. And if it means hanging up or loving light so that you can get balanced, got to do it. Because when we get off center, when the moms get off center, and in the instances when we have primary custody of the children, when we get off center, that whole house is going to be off center until we're balanced.
Yes. Amen. I remember thinking, I'm so insane that I must be the most terrible mother, because I was really just so insane, And looking back on it, I put a lot of pressure on my oldest daughter. She was like second mother, and it was just way too much in my brain going on to offer any resolution at all. And I made it worse on the father. I was making him more insane, So it's just really real that you have to start with yourself. It sounds unfair. I remember thinking that. That's why I said it tonight when the lady said change you. I was like, well, I got to change me. I'm already doing enough stuff. I don't need to change. But I understand that it works.
And we also have to look at one of the things that was hard, and I'm not going to say hard, very challenging, is that If you believe in the law of attraction, then when we do have children by these men, it goes back to self, because you would have to look a little deeper and say, now what caused me to attract him to me? What is in me that is attracted him to me? So instead of me projecting I'm not saying they don't come with their own flaws. Instead of me just projecting on what he's not doing, let me look at some things that could be going on internally. And then it's about coping, because the children, whether we like each other, love each other, lust each other, if they do not see this healthy balance of how males and females interact, intertwine, all of that, then what they'll do, we're just looking at our grandchildren years from now. Either they're going to be somewhat sane and going to see a counselor, or they're going to be doing our crazy stuff. We just have to look forward to, I'm creating legacy here. I'm creating legacy.
Yes, another generation of the same thing again. And this is why we bring this show, so that this can stop, because we're not thinking about that. We're so into us. We ain't thinking about what's going to happen with our shorties, what they're going to be like. We too busy trying to make the baby mama do, make the baby daddy do, And next thing you know, we got these little gangster shorties running around, and you're going to get older now, and you're going to have to deal with this problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got this kid, and you're going to get older. You're going to elevate. If God bless you, you're going to elevate, and you're going to grow up some. And then a copy of you, a carbon copy of your foolery, it's going to be walking around, and while you're trying to get out of the mess, you got somebody coming into the mess. And I'm going to air my dirty laundry again before I put Merlot on the phone. I see Merlot on the phone, and you ladies are going to love him. And he's my full-time radio host for TNM. And he's very raw, so if we get raw, we ask for forgiveness in advance, Lord Jesus.
Thanks for the warning.
Pray for us when I let him in this conversation. But, I have a 16-year-old who is pregnant right now, and I love her through that, and I support her through that. She's very intelligent, and she does very well in school. And I just want to say, I'm not saying that so somebody could feel sorry for her. She hates it when people act like, oh, no, we don't feel sorry for Naomi. We're very proud of her. But I cried when I found out, because I know that there is so much she could have done differently. She can still do so much, but differently and in a more free space. Had I raised her differently, But I was busy.
What work is ahead of her. That's why what's ahead of her, because of having an early pregnancy like this. Right. So I know.
And I know that it has everything to do, her attitude toward men, her attitude toward herself, even through everything I tried to do to avoid such things. Because of what she had seen and been, in front of, it's very hard for me to explain to her how to be different now, because it was too many years of something else, And so now I already have 5 kids. So what does that mean? That means me, right now at 35, I'm going to have 6 kids, I have to deal with this problem. Not that it's a problem. I'm trying to walk light, but everything I have done prior is affecting me through my children now, And so it's just what I want parents to see, is that you are going to have to deal with what you are creating, whatever you're creating in your children. Merlot, are you there?
I am here.
How are you doing tonight, Merlot?
Okay, give me a second to take the Bluetooth off so I can go in real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay, can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so fasten your seatbelt. So I want to say that I've been listening to the entire segment this evening, and I will also go ahead and say that, of course, I'm not a father myself. However, I do have 2 sisters that do have baby mama drama. And I just want to touch on this because I actually experienced a lot of this within the past week, and I actually just talked about it on the Formerlo show. So it's like it's very deep right now, and I just sit here and I listen to your sides of the story because, you are the mothers, you are the parents, However, I will say, sometimes, sometimes the mother is the problem of why they have the baby mama drama, I mean, you can't look at it as, okay, well, because we're not together, I'm going to start treating you this way, and I'm not going to let you see your child, and things of that nature.
Right.
But then you do have those sorry, piss poor dads, that just don't want to do the right thing. And I get it. But it's just like, there's always two sides to every story, but I think that, and again, I don't have any children, so I'm looking as the uncle standpoint, but I think that y'all guys just need to learn to work together. And that, like you just said, you don't want your children to grow up thinking such and such and such and such, but at the same time, if they can't see that you can't even get along as friends, what else is there to do? So I just think that, we need to just work on just togetherness and things of that nature, so that everything will be all right. And, my parents, let me just backtrack just a little bit more, tell you a little bit more about my tea. So I grew up in the projects. My parents got married, and that was the person that I was told was my father. Now, I don't really believe that was my true father, but, it is what it is, and just move on because he actually took care of me. However, it's just my mother has always taught me to respect my father for the father that I know, regardless of his shortcomings. Now, he was a cheater. He was an abuser, things of that nature, now. So it is what it is. Just teach your child the proper ways and let them make the decision for themselves. If the parent is deadbeat, they'll see it, and that's their decision to make, not yours. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You was being so good. Marlo. Don't try to hang up, Marlo.
Don't try to hang up.
I really want to touch on that because when I was very young, I watched my mother go through an abusive relationship. And that's what I saw of parenting my entire young life. I saw abuse. And it really did affect the way that I interacted with men in my adulthood, and which is why I am divorced. I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it right for Miss Rosario because she told me a different way to say this. I have been married 3 times. And I was going to say divorce, but she said, okay, now stop telling yourself the negative story. I have been married 3 times, so yes, ladies, I know how to get them to put a ring on it. But I just don't know how to keep the ring on. That's the thing. I haven't learned that yet. But I think I'm working on it. But I also have had, I have 4 baby daddies. And so we're talking about 7 men. I'm 35 years old, and I watched this abuse in my life, and I don't blame my reaction to it, I blame my reaction to it, not what happened to me. So I don't tell the story and say because that happened to me is why I've done this. But because that happened to me, it affected the way that I did things for a very, very large amount of time, okay? And I remember my grandmother saying something to me that didn't ever really sink in until I decided to let this drama go with my baby daddies. My grandma said, I never had a daddy, and I was going off about my daddy, and I was very young, and she said, good daddy or bad daddy, still your daddy. And I didn't understand that then. It sounded like a bunch of craziness.
Say that again. Good daddy, bad daddy, what?
Bad daddy, still your daddy.
Okay.
Still your father. And she was basically telling me to gain some respect, because without these 2 individuals, you would not be here, period. And what they've been through. She also said if they knew better, they would do it, okay?
Yes, they would.
Every time I say that to somebody, they go, they know better. No, but if they knew better, for real, deep down, they would do better. They do what they know.
Exactly. And if you can accept that, that's what I had to accept. If you can accept where a person is, like that is where they are, that's what they know, that's who they are right now, then you can release it, you can accept it, and you can almost forgive them for being that way, because it's like, I just know, I know that when a person
you do what
better,
you know. You do what you know.
Right.
If you don't know, if you don't have the information, you have to act on it. That's
right.
And I had a comment. My mother used to say, what you all are talking about, she used to say, this is when I was in college. My book also deals with domestic violence, of which I have been in abusive relationships, and I've also been very aggressive at times. But my mother used to say the same thing. She used to say, when you know better, you would do better. You do better. And I used to say to her, that doesn't make any sense. No. They know better. They can repeat it. They can say it. They know. Their parents taught them. I've been around their parents. But I had to learn something as I got older. I'm 39 now. And I learned that you may know something. It can go in your ear. But that doesn't mean what you all had talked about, accepting and deep down taking that on as a part of your belief system. Because my I have 4 children.
Internalizing, right.
Internalizing, yes, I have 4 children by 2 different men, and I talk about that in my book because it comes with different experiences. The last 3 are by the same man, and he's very well known. And he also speaks about and talks about publicly fatherhood and things of that nature. And during my pregnancies, I had to deal with seeing that in the paper, on the TV. At one point, I stopped watching TV. I said, I'm not going to watch this, because he was getting a lot of play then, because it was hurtful to see certain things, and I was being treated another way that no one could see. So I disconnected from the TV. But I had to learn. I didn't have to learn. I chose to learn. It sunk in. I mean, I have 3 children by this man, so it sunk in after a while. And now I say, and people look at me crazy, I say, people that know about it, I say, nah, I forgive him, because he really doesn't know. And they said, but he's writing things in the paper, in the Post, and what do you mean he doesn't? And I can say that now, not because I'm trying to make myself feel better, because I truly understand there's no way in the world, brother, that you really believe what you're telling these people, because God can make you be a certain way. He can give you gifts and talents, but that doesn't mean you have looked at it and internalized it, like she said. And that's
and that's love. That, you know what, and it's like love kind of goes beyond what a person is doing, and so it's acceptance. It's all a part of loving, and it's amazing how a person can be doing all these things that are hurtful and neglectful and all of that, but you know, and it's the God in you that knows.
That's right.
The real person, real person is not like that. The real person that God dwells through, that love that we all have, they have it too. They just haven't realized it, and that's why they do what they do. And that's how you can forgive.
They act cool. I mean, you're saying something so deep, because this is the thing about lessons. Sometimes people want, especially women, they want us to be like this. We have this image, we got it all together, we're super women. A woman can, she can handle that. She got it, and she can cook dinner and go work a job and then still make the football games, and she's fine. But we're women. We're divine. We're not Arnold Schwarzenegger. So it's like what you just said about love, it took lessons. It took 3 children by the same man and going through. And if you don't learn a lesson the first time, you're going to repeat it. And it took.
Again and again.
I can't say that I have completely learned it. I can't say I've completely learned it. And that's what I tell people when I go and speak about my book and things. I'm not going to sit here and say that. But what you just said about love, and I say that to him now. I couldn't say that before. I couldn't articulate that to him before. I used to blow up, and I used to say hurtful and negative things. But afterwards, I would feel so bad. but I didn't know how to. But I was talking about it to young people. This is how you communicate. I didn't know how to articulate such passion and such emotion to the man I was intimate with. Of, look, you've hurt me. But not to make an excuse for what I was doing, which was verbal abuse. That's not an excuse either, just because I'm the female. I was negating it.
I was.
But
nice song.
Yeah, but what she was saying, love. I say that to him now, and I'm so proud of myself. We had a situation. You're going to have situations with your children's father, if you have one or more than one. We had a situation yesterday, and when we didn't yell, I was so proud of it. It didn't end perfect, but we didn't yell. We excused the children to another room. He left, but there was no yelling. And when I had sent him a message, I said, "This is not you. I'm really disappointed in your actions. I can't believe you would act like this towards me, but I still recognize the king that you are, and I'm going to wait so we can talk." I couldn't have done that some years ago, and I'm here to tell you, I couldn't have done it.
I feel you.
Good,
yeah.
though. You feel good because you know that you're growing, number one. And for me, I've just accepted the fact that deep down I'm loved. And no matter what, I've got to be loved because that's who I truly am. All the other stuff is not me. Any vindictive actions is not me. Holding a grudge is not me because deep down there's love, but there's pain, and that's why you act that way. But it's like I just revert back to the default, which is love.
Yeah.
And it makes you just feel so good that you are able to do that.
Yeah.
In the face of what somebody else may be presenting to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and it calms everything else down. And I know there's a lot of pressure. Like, I used to feel that pressure, like, why do I have to change that pressure back again? And I just want to tell the women, I know why it's called baby mama drama. And they're not going to like me. I know when I say this. Oh, we have another caller. I just want to say this real quick before I let the other caller in. But it's baby mama drama because you have the power. My auntie said something. She's very funny. She's hilarious, my auntie, and I wish she could call in tonight because she is a trip when she starts laying stuff down. And she's a professor of education at a university of, I don't want to get this wrong, UCF, Central Florida. And and my auntie is my superhero. And she said to me one day, she said, I was telling her my story. We all have these stories we repeat. And I was telling her my whole story about my baby daddies. And I said, I keep fighting with him because I need some help. She said, you ain't got to fight. Go to court. I said, but he won't listen to me. He ain't got to listen to you. Y'all don't got to talk. I said, no, and everything I said to her, she had a quick snap comeback like that. And I said, but he doesn't understand. And she said, he ain't got to understand. He just got to do it.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, my God. And I said, and I love him, and I don't want to hate him, but you ain't got to hate him. You can love him, and he can still do it.
Exactly.
And I was just, done with the conversation, 5 minutes. She didn't let me vent very long before she had me shut all the way down, And I learned a lot from that very simple conversation. Everything that Ms. Rosario said, everything, I'm sorry I'm calling you first name, Shonda. I don't mean no harm by it, but I just get into this thing sometimes with people. But everything you ladies said, the two therapists on the phone, is so true. You choose that. You're doing that. That's what my auntie was telling me, and that's why it's called baby mama drama, because most of the time the mom has the kids. And if you have the kids, that is power. That's most of the reason why the man is mad with you, because you have the power, okay? And you choose to go back and forth and back and forth. You can squash it. Whenever you feel like it, you just do what you have to do and be done talking and squash it.
Exactly.
And just be over with it, but it's that love again. It's that I still want this man. It's still, I don't just want him to want the kids. Well, I want him to pay me. Now I don't just want him to pay me. I want him to want the kids. Now I don't just want him to want the kids. Why he don't want me? Well, why he so mad at me? Well, why he can't love all of us? Well, what did I do? I gave you a baby. You should still love me, you know. And it's this battle. You have to be truthful with yourself that this battle really does come from us because we don't have to do it. That's why it comes from us, because we choose to do this battle. And that goes for both sides of the fence, of course. But it's baby mama drama when you allow it as the mom to become a drama like what we did tonight, you know. I really do.
When you should just sit back and relax and enjoy the fulfillment of having been a mother. Because let me tell you something, the most important event of my life, and there is none other, is having been a mother. And that's what you need to sit back and enjoy.
Right. And I was about to ask Rasafire a question, but I lost her. Hopefully she'll call me back. I don't know what happened to her. But I want to answer this caller, too. Let me see who this is. We got a lot of callers tonight. Love and Light, this is Lady Rayne. Who am I speaking with?
It's King Weezy, live and direct. How you doing?
How you doing, King Weezy? You know, you would call. We still got about 23 minutes, but you know what I was thinking, King Weezy? I was thinking, you know, all of the men in the TNM fam had chickened out. So I was really, you know, picking on all of you, you know, because I know they listen to us, but I thought they all just, but I knew one real soldier was going to call. See, you did me proud.
Hey, look, Purple Hearts, I done earned my stripes. I'm ready. I'm tested for battle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I just want to introduce everybody to King Weezy, who I also call AKA Green Lane. And I'm gonna let Rasafire back in the conversation because she tried to leave us. Don't try to leave us. Don't try to leave me. I wasn't trying to leave you guys.
Well, I'm gonna have to leave in a few minutes, so.
Okay, Miss Sylvia, I really appreciate you so much. And I'm so glad that you called in, and I will make sure I put up all your information on how to contact you on a nice page that we got started here about this show because people like to listen to this show after the fact for whatever their reason is. So I want to put up a nice page so they can download you and get in contact with you. And I give thanks for the connection and that you called in tonight.
Yeah, good night, and I appreciate your calling me and asking me to serve on your show tonight. So thank you very much.
I appreciate you for showing up. Love and light to you. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody have a good night.
We will. Good night. Thanks for you.
Night.
King Weezy.
Yes.
Tell me what your problem is, King Weezy. I'm going to be baby mama and you be baby daddy. What is the problem? What is the deal? What's going on with y'all? What's going on?
You don't know how hard I was trying to get on this call. I picked up. Look, I'm a full-time father myself, so I've got the two with me in the back seat now. So I wanted to definitely be a part of this healthy conversation that you guys and you ladies are partaking in. So I had to call in and get. But I heard a little bit of the end of what they were speaking of. Very valuable information. Very, very, very. I mean, that intellect that they provided was great. I mean, the fact that the woman does have the power, oh my gosh, and they're choosing to allow whatever's going on to continue, and that's huge. I mean, it's sometimes things can be so simple, but sometimes the easy things are the hardest to triumph and actually to conquer. But I feel like that's 100% accurate. The person with the child does have the power, and you know, us as men, we're used to having the power, or you know, at least wanting the power, or want to feel like we're the man in every situation. So it's a lot of adaptation. But if you don't have two people that are on the same page, that situation is extremely tough.
Right. And so, do you find it hard to communicate like we do? Like, what happens when you try to communicate and make it non-dramatic? What happens in that conversation?
You know, as much as you try to make it non-dramatic, because there's an X. And what I mean X, meaning unknown. There's an unknown truth or unknown fact that a lot of times us men do not know what they're completely holding on to. I mean, we could assume why they're doing what they're doing, but a lot of times there's a lot of hurt from different areas to where if those people sat down for the betterment of the child and just had a conversation, the child doesn't even have to be involved. They need, I believe, the both parties involved should sit down and have a conversation on what was, what isn't, and the future for the child, and that never happens. There's always some type of stronghold or resentment that each party has against the other person, and the only person that ends up suffering is that child. We all know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, I think that I totally agree in that it's hard for the mother and father to just be friends. And I think that you're right there. You know, there may be one party that's perfectly fine, like I'm done with it, like I want to be friends. Right. But there's always one or both that are not letting go, and it's like it's now not that we're together. It's now we are friends for the sake of our children. We're friends because we love each other.
That's right.
But we have to be friends for the children, and just nurturing, just first of all realizing that now we are in a different kind of relationship. And that's the hardest thing, and I think those are, you know, some dynamics in a relationship that could cause the drama. So I totally agree with what you're saying.
I really appreciate every comment that's been had tonight, and I just wanted to open up the floor for somebody should mute for like 1 second, because I hear a little bit of wind in the phone. And I just want to hear if Rasa has any questions for King Weezy. And I want to talk to you about King Weezy a little bit more, too. King Weezy is a hip-hop artist. He is a very, very dynamic writer. And I would just encourage everybody to go over to SoundCloud. Just type in King Weezy, and you will see his music pop up. And he's somebody that we really hope to see blossom and see his career take off in 2014. And I give thanks that you called in tonight to be a part of it, a great TNM-supported artist. So I wanted to give the floor to Rasa. Is there any questions that you have for King Weezy or for Shonda right now about, you know, any of the things that we've been talking about, or anything that we missed that you think we missed?
I think you kind of covered a lot across the board. Everyone had a little something to say about it. From the father's perspective, I did want to know what he feels that he could do as, you know, a father who is raising his children full time, what he could do to make the relationship between the mother and him better, where it's not a lot of drama. Even if it's just to say, you know, okay, listen, I don't want to argue anymore, and I'm not going to say anything. I just want to listen and hear what you have to say about the whole thing, and then see if there's some validity to what she's saying, or maybe she's not seeing his side. So I guess I kind of wanted to know, you know, about that, whether he felt it was something that he could do to make the relationship better, or what.
Right. And that's a great question, Rasa. I mean, because and actually the situation that I'm in is actually it's my son. It's Malachi. So I've got three children. I've got two little girls, and I got my little boy, the oldest one, my oldest child. And the situation with him has been an ongoing situation for 8.5 years now. And you believe it or not, I have done everything that I feel possible except for be able to get 100% stable to where I can financially get the get attorneys involved and unfortunately, get the law involved. You don't really want to, because as an adult and as a grown individual that had children, and you didn't have to get anyone involved to have it. You want deep down
right.
to be able to solve this issue yourself.
Right.
So, well, have you tried to go to somebody like Shonda Pertilla or get counseling with you and the mom and the children?
Believe it or not, she doesn't want to have any kind of conversation with me at all.
Wow. Right.
For whatever reason may be. But and like I said, it's just to the point. I mean, I've been to the whole, the meeting spots and supposed to be here a certain time and showing up a certain time just to be there, just I guess to imitate a statue, because the furthest thing from her mind was meeting at the meeting spot. So, I mean, I've been through it all in 8.5 years, and it's to the point now to where it's going to be have to be an escalated level for me to be a part of my son's life the way I know I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Where there's a will, there's a way, and when there's a man upstairs that's controlling it all, you really have to you have to be humble first off, and you have to know that this is happening to you for a reason. My son is going through this for a reason. It's not my story. It's not mine. It's hurting on this end, but at the same time, God's allowing this to happen for somebody's benefit. And you've got to, as a parent and as a hands-on father like myself, you got to really swallow that and bear that and realize, you know what, this is molding his story for some reason. There's something great going to come out of this. And you've got to really trust and believe that, because those nights and those trying times when you just know and you're thinking about the child, and you can't do something as simple as pick up a phone and say, hey, I'm thinking about you, because either you don't know the number, haven't been provided the number, haven't been provided the address. You really got to have a higher belief system and realize, you know what, when the times I have been with my child and the moments that I have been hands-on with him, I've instilled the man upstairs in my son, and I tell him it's not about what anybody do on this earth. It's about God. It's about God. You got to talk to him when when you're not feeling good, when you realize you don't understand why you can't see your father. Talk to God, because when you talk to him, he's talking to me. That's how we communicate. So I trust and believe what I've instilled with him in the times that I will with him, that he's strong. But there's nothing like that physical presence from a father, just to be able to throw the football around to him, or be able to give him those encouraging words when you see he has a temper probably like his daddy, and you just want to be able to strengthen him and make him a better man than you ever could be. But I know, as I speak about it, it's gonna happen. It's gonna come to pass, and I just believe that.
That's right.
Yes, and that was a big thing. Like when, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to say that just hearing you as a father describe, your situation and your desire to be a full-time father, doing all of these things with your son, it's really touching for me, and I admire that, because, I guess, previous conversation or earlier we were talking about fathers that were not willing to do that, and we have a man on the phone that wants to do that, and for whatever reason, you know what, the reason why she's doing that is selfish. Okay, that is just point blank, period. She's all about herself, because there's no other reason, like not keeping the child in mind, like whatever she feels about you, it's just, I just know that wherever he is with her, that she knows that he wants to see you. I'm sure the questions come. I'm sure all of that comes.
Sure.
And the requests come. But she's choosing to keep you guys separate. And
like
that
you were telling us
heart.
earlier, there's not much that he can do about her. There's only a way that he can try to react to it in a way where it doesn't cause any drama. And
well,
that's all you're
legal.
in control
I mean,
of
you've got to go legal,
yourself.
Some people can't do the right thing. They need a mediator. They need consequences. And this is one of those cases where, you know, do what you need to do.
Fight to see your child. Exactly. And a lot of young men need to fight to see their children, you know. And the lady was talking earlier. I'm so sad she hung up. Like, she was talking about law of attraction, and this is a big deal for us. We need to remember why we fell in love with these people, why we made a baby with these people, and try to understand that there was something in us that did attract this other person. So whatever is in them is in us. This is very important for you to be honest with yourself. Like I used to say, these hood niggas, blah, 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 and have all this crazy talk about it, okay? But I was a hood nigga, and that's what I attracted, you know, like, and when I decided I'm going to get up in Sadiddy and start, you know, being all right, you know, then I expected everybody else to get it right, you know. This is not how the world works, you know. It's your turn now to wait for that other person to grow. And just because you grew yesterday all of a sudden out of the blue doesn't mean the other person is going to grow tomorrow for you. Okay, so some of us need to be patient. You know, I hear people say, you need to get mature. Well, you wasn't mature when you met her, or you wasn't mature when you met him, so don't expect him to be jumping up or her to jump up and just get mature because you decided to do it. Okay, these are the people you chose to connect with, and you need to be a lot more patient. A lot of us need to understand patience. And I just give thanks for this whole conversation was just off the map awesome. And I'm so glad that you called in, King Weezy, and gave us a male perspective of this drama. And I give thanks for Merlot. You still there, Merlot? Are you there?
You better believe it.
You got the phone on mute. Merlot, do you have any questions for anybody in these last, 5 minutes we got on this show?
I don't have anything to say, but big ups to you guys, big ups to King Weezy, big ups to our guests that called in tonight. We thank you so much for actually participating on our show, and we love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And, of course, big ups to my two ladies working in the background all the time.
We love you guys. And I give thanks for Sylvia Rosario for stopping on by for me. And to this wonderful lady that was an author that I didn't get to write down her name, but I'm going to listen to my own show again so I can buy her book. And because it sounds juicy, like we can get back on and do this again.
Her name was, what was her name? Her name was Misa Harper. I think that's what it was. Actually, yeah.
I'm writing it down now. I'm seeing it. I'm going to listen to this whole thing again. I got to buy that book. It sounds really great, and I think everybody who's going through the Baby Mama drama should probably check into that book. I really do want to say to everybody, as a mentor and as the founder of K&M, I would like to see everybody think about getting therapy. If the other person won't go with you, go by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because a therapist is a great thing. That's how come this conversation moved so smoothly, is because we had two very capable therapists on the line. And even though we touched on a lot of things, we were given a lot of different ways we can look at it and deal with the other, and the other didn't even have to be here. You know, so you don't need the other person to be in the therapy with you. It might just be you. It might just be you and your kids, you know. But a therapist can give you a way in which you can react better to your situation. Okay, and make some changes in your life. You have power to make changes in your life, even if the other person doesn't want to do it. You know? And I just want to also thank you so much, Shonda Pertilla. You have been so awesome tonight. You stuck it out with me, too. I remember when I called you and we were talking, and I was just like, I thank you, Jesus, you know, because I never thought, you know, I'm real ghetto. Everybody knows. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm very proud to be ghetto. It makes me a lot more savvy than most people. And I'm not ashamed of it. And I call myself that with pride. And I know how to turn my lights back on. So if all y'all lights go off, don't call me. But you guess what? Mine's going to be back on. And I know how to get my water back on. Ghetto is an amazing thing to be. Okay, so I am very ghetto. So when I tried to call Shonda, when I tried to call these people, They was like, I ain't getting on no ghetto show with this girl. I know that's what they were saying in their head. I ain't getting on a ghetto show. No. And we really do give thanks for you so we can bring you back on again. I think I did very good suppressing a little bit of my ghetto tonight. I was trying to be very sophisticated, and I did a good job.
Well, thank you. I'm really, you made my day today. I mean, I don't even know how to express how happy I am to have been, that you even called me, that you found me and you asked me to be on the show, because, I'm not just a therapist, I'm a mom, and I'm a single mom. So it's very relevant to my practice, and it's very relevant to my life. And so I thank you for having me.
Well, I give thanks, too, and you better know I'm going to call you again soon, because we're going to have this conversation with some more men next time, so King Weezy can have some help.
You know what I mean?
We're going to touch on this again. And I know we're going to have some great topics coming up this year, and I'm going to try to be on the air a little more. What I want to do to close this show out tonight is I want to play you a song, you guys. This song is from a really great artist. He's also a TNM supported artist, and his name is Thelonious. And he wrote this song called A Father's Song. And I just want to play this for the fathers, since we didn't really get to talk to you guys long enough tonight. King Weezy, I really wanted to talk to you some more. But this is going to be my tribute to the fathers, since we didn't get to talk to you guys enough. And I hope that you guys come back and join me again the next time we do one of these strong about that life topics.
Yes.
I hope that anybody's listening, you guys come back. Every topic that I touch on for the rest of the year are going to be topics that have to do with us. So if you street life, if you thug life, if you bout that life, make sure you come back and you hook up with us, because we're going to be talking about everything, and we ain't never scared.
Yeah.
Love and life to you from the TNM fam. The turn up is real. The turn up is really real.
In the little bassinet next to our bed, and I couldn't sleep because, first of all, I had the usual thing that first-time parents do. Is she still breathing? Is she okay? Because they're so small, they look so delicate, although they're tougher than they look. But it was also the notion that, you suddenly have this new life here, and you're responsible for them, and you are going to make an enormous difference by just the smallest of gestures, just a hug or a kiss or singing a song to them. And it really, I think, entirely changes your perspective in a way that continues to grow as you get older.
Hey, yo, North Star, turn the mic up some. Louder. This is my daddy's anthem. If you're a father, put your hands up. Black men, don't let them brand us. And you should learn to hold a son instead of handcuffs. Daughters included, my father plays an influence on all the positive music that I'm steadily pursuing. And I never abuse it, I use it to give back to all the men who were raising the youngin'. Now that's a dad, ain't it? A shame the way they paint us in pictures, they paint us. Because some of my brothers abandoned their baby mothers, no love. And I see a downfall in the community. The power of fatherhood is really an immunity to the stereotypical misconception of who we are. We were born to shine like fireflies in a star. Mama, I ponder my father's image within your eyes. I wonder whether he did the job, taking great pride. Love, as I'm writing the song, I dedicate to my papa. I felt this way all along. You set the bar for your boy, you get the best for your girl. I'm giving this to every father all over the world. Love, as I'm writing the song, I dedicate to my papa. I felt this way all along. You set the bar for your boy, you get the best for your girl. I'm giving this to every father all over the world. This is my daddy's anthem. If you're a father, put your hands up. Black men, don't let them brand us. And you should learn to hold a son instead of handcuffs. Blessed with the opportunity to see my dad survive. He transcended into a place where he should have died. My grandmother and grandfather steadily prayed, even when some of the rest of the family turned away. But I respect them, renaming nameless, and I ain't afraid to say this, but I feel
that summer my kin felt hopeless. And I remember back in December, the coldest winter, when I entered my adolescence. My faith in you never folded. I wish that I was half of who you are, Tyrone. Deep in the catacombs of my heart, you have a home. To me, you're better than Jordan, a ball shotter. You raised me proper. If you need me, holla. I love you, Papa. Love, as I'm writing the song, I dedicate to my Papa. I felt this way all along. You set the bar for your boy. You get the best for your girl. I'm giving this to every father all over the world. Love, as I'm writing the song, I dedicate to my Papa. I felt this way all along. You set the bar for your boy. You get the best for your girl. I'm giving this to every father all.
Well, I'm sorry I had to end that a little bit early. Don't just be about it. Talk about it. Good night.